Well, welcome to the Friday Bubble. Today we're at Veuve Clicquot, a fascinating history here. They're one of those houses that are in a little group all together on the edge of Reims, where they have these most beautiful chalk cathedrals, and they're often 30, 32, 34 metres high. With Clicquot, back in 1772 when it was founded, Madame Clicquot, as a very young lady, took over the business, the daughter, in 1810. And it was that year that they started the very first vintage. Today with the 2002, we should say, this is only the 63rd vintage in that line. So it's not very frequently made. The unusual thing with Clicquot was the fact that in 2002, they didn't make a prestige cuvee. Now Essi, 2002 was considered to be a pretty fabulous year.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it was for very long, and I think still is hailed as the so far the wine of the century. But I think recently, we're not witnessing just as great reviews and aging capacity than what we originally were expecting.
Right.
And I think it was a really interesting growing season. The only problem was that in August some rain started and there started to be this threat of grey rot. Mm-hmm. And I think that's actually what we taste in some of the wines, that they're aged with a touch of botrytis on them.
So a year where there was plenty of ripeness, and the interesting thing with this one, it was obviously released for the 250th anniversary, a slightly different label, and this was disgorged actually quite recently. This was disgorged in November 2022. So this has had 19 years. So late, very much a late disgorged edition. And I haven't tasted this for a little while. I did taste it a while back, and I'm going to let Essi have a little taste and give us some insights as to how it's showing.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Clicquot, the vintage wine has always been very important for them, and they're really known for it, maybe even a little bit more than their La Grande Dame, the prestige cuvee.
Right.
Compared to La Grande Dame, which is really on the elegance of Pinot Noir, here we have much more the power of the Pinot Noir. And recently, I think already in this 2000, not yet actually 2002, it was only in 2008 that they started to use a little bit of oak as well, like big oak vats.
Yes.
So really to bring on that, to even accentuate the vinosity. So it's really nice that they're keeping up with this vintage tradition. I just looked at some statistics a few days ago, and today only 1.6% of Champagne's production is vintage.
Right.
So it's prestige cuvee, and the non-vintage are really the bulk of it, and vintage is tiny. But it's a lovely category where we don't need to pay for the prestige of the luxury cuvee, but we're still getting wines from the better years than average, and also aged really long on the lease. And this is of course luxury, to have wine that has been aged for approximately 20 years.
Okay. So it's 60% Pinot, 33 Chardonnay, and a little dash, 7% of Meunier.
Yeah, beautiful. It's actually taken very well such a long time on the lease. Must be the Magnum effect here. Really, you get that gunpowder fireworks Magnum effect beautifully. Very leesy, very rich, round, soft. This is really, really great nose.
What we thought we'd have a little go is just to see. I had a feeling it was going to be shown quite young and might benefit from a little bit of space. So we'll try it also in the Layman Jamis glass, because I have a feeling it might benefit from a little bit more volume. But let's see.
They're definitely more open. I'm getting more the reductiveness, the Magnum effect. I'm getting more in the small one. But this one gives really like more burgundy, and it's really open and really toasty.
Wow, that really brings the fruit forward, doesn't it? Because this is definitely bringing that smoky charm forward in the Grand Champagne glass. I think it tastes richer. The texture somehow tastes bigger and richer in the bigger glass.
Very interesting. This actually seems very Burgundian. The bubbles, they are quite, mellow, age mellowed.
Yes.
It's a very
They're
gentle,
gentle,
on the palate, and this lovely little touch of reduction.
Mm-hmm.
You could almost imagine that there'd be oak there, that toastiness, that sort of woodiness that vanilla would imply for that, but it's
I was
all from
about to
the
say,
aging.
yeah. Can you explain why it tastes like this oak? Because
Yeah, I think that at least this connection with Burgundy whites, with this touch
Right.
of reduction and toast, but in this case, it comes from the Magnum effect, and it comes from the long lease aging. So really, I love them both. But if you're, let me retaste.
there's a lot of really juicy fruit coming through in the bigger glass. There is all the yellow fruit traits in there. There is that really roasted pineapple, but there's lovely stone fruit. There's a whole bunch of plums and apricots and things that are underneath that, and it's just turning to the point where some of these are going dried. So you're getting those, dried apricots and things coming through in this. It's at a rather beautiful age of development, isn't it?
Yeah, to me, I'm really, I'm not always a fan of wines that have been aged really long time on the
Yes.
lees, but definitely the Magnum format really helps. And this is like beautifully preserved, really nice, nice fruit, lots of depth, lots of age-driven complexity to them, and staying completely reductive. So very, very nice and solid wines. I'm sure you can age them very well, but to me, there's no need. To me, it's actually perfect now. I'm super happy to drink it like this.
Now tell me a bit about why you choose one over the other, Essi, because it's quite confusing.
Yeah, they're very different actually. I think maybe for some gastronomic pairing, I'd go for the bigger glass, for the extra vinosity, the roundness, the softness. But personally, I'm getting a more compact, more focused, more reductive whole in the Jamès. So if you just as a drink of its own, I'd use the Jamès myself.
I think I'll agree. There's definitely a vinosity coming through in the bigger glass. I'm loving some of the aromatics on the bigger glass, but I'm loving it's perhaps losing some of the bubbles and has gone a bit Burgundian. I'm actually liking how it keeps a bit tighter.
Yeah, exactly.
In this glass. The roasted pine nuts. Wow, really coming out in this glass.
Yeah. Definitely, I'm more and more liking the Jamès as an expression. But a very nice wine.
Wow.
It's a real apt celebration for the 250 years of Clicquot.
Perfect. The dosage is lost. There is 8 grams for all those people being technical here. And Essi, which are we toasting with today?
Let's do it with the Jamès.
I think I'd agree. Cheers. Thank you for all that lovely information about the wines. They are, I haven't said as much today because I'm just enjoying them so much. And there won't be much of this left later because I think we're going and having this for dinner, Essi.
Yes, definitely we are.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And happy Friday. And I hope you'll get a chance to try one of these wines, late disgorged Clicquot Magnums, absolutely glorious. Thank you.